This video is part of a whole course called Basic Shooting. If you want to see the next segment, Smooth Moves and Steady Shots, where you'll learn tips and techniques of handheld shooting to get a professional look, you're in luck because we're giving it to you for free. Just click on the link in the description and follow the directions.
The idea of composition is very, very simple, at least in the beginning. It is the artful arrangement of objects and people within the frame. So for example, the very video that you're looking right now has elements of composition. Where am I in the frame? Am I framed left? Am I framed right? Or am I framed in the middle? Those three choices can make a tremendous amount of difference in how you interpret the image that you're looking at. Where the camera is placed relative to the subject is critically important in terms of how your audience will interpret what they're seeing on the screen. So for example, the camera that I'm using right now is placed so that it's about the same height as my eye level. That's the neutral position. If we were to place the camera, for example, below an object, it makes that object look much bigger and much more dominant and stronger than the viewer. If we place the camera above the object so it's shooting down on the object, now just the opposite happens. The subject looks smaller, looks less powerful, looks diminutive. So where the camera is placed in terms of height can have a tremendous impact on the way your audience interprets what's going on. An important concept or principle behind good composition is to use something called the rule of thirds. Now, the rule of thirds has been around for thousands of years as artists have struggled to figure out how to best arrange objects inside their frame while they were painting. The rule of thirds simply means that you imagine a tic-tac-toe box in your viewfinder. And on that tic-tac-toe box, you will notice there are 4 points where the lines intersect. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, 2 on the right and 2 on the left. If you make sure that the center point of your frame or your composition lines up with one of those 4 points, you will automatically end up with much more interesting composition. One of the things we need to be concerned about when we're doing composition is that we have relatively the same composition between each of the shots, so that when we edit it together, we can preserve an illusion of continuity. We can make it look the same to the audience. So for example, if we have 3 different shots of someone, we would make sure that their eye line, or where their eyes are, remain relatively the same in each of the 3 shots. The best rule of thumb for this is to put the person's eye line about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the frame. So whether you're shooting a long shot, medium shot, or close-up, their eye line will remain the same. Their head won't bounce all over the screen. If you do this, the result will be much smoother for the audience and they will get much more engaged in what's going on. One of the best uses of the rule of thirds is when you're taking portraits of people or when you're shooting people. One of the things you can remember to always do to make that composition look as interesting as you can is to make sure that the people's eyes, that at least one of their eyes, hopefully both, fall along one of those 2 lines, and usually it's the line on top. It's the upper third. If you look at any videos or any films, you will notice that very often that rule is followed. The person's eye line is 1/3 of the way down from the top of the frame, and usually one or both of the eyes lines up with where those lines intersect. Now, one of the problems that we have to worry about when we're taking pictures of people is where do we literally put their heads inside the frame. If you're in a tight close-up on somebody, the tendency is to cut them off very close to the bottom of their chin, or even to get rid of their chin altogether and show their entire head, show their hairline. This can be a mistake in terms of good composition. It looks better. It's much more accepting to your audience to show their entire face, to put the frame below their chin, and to cut them off somewhere in the middle of their forehead if that's what you need to do. As you look at these examples, notice the difference between low framing and high framing. Whenever you have your subject facing either the right frame or the left frame, you have to be aware of something called lead room or nose room. And what this simply means is you have to leave some space between the front of their face or the front of the object and the edge of the frame. Nose room works because psychologically it creates a space for your object to look to. If we don't have any nose room at all, as you can see in this example, notice how the person looks like they're looking right into a brick wall. It is very, very uncomfortable for the viewer to see somebody looking this way. Now, you can use this effect on purpose if you wish, but you have to be very, very careful. Composition is the artful arrangement of people and objects within the frame of your camcorder. How does that help you as a videographer? Well, it helps you turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. One of the challenges you have as a videographer is that most often you're going to be shooting ordinary people doing ordinary things. If you want an audience to watch your videos and to get them engaged in them, you somehow have to make it more interesting. One of the ways to do that without spending any money at all is to use good, effective composition.
Thanks for watching. If you want to watch the next video in this segment, Smooth Moves and Steady Shots, where you'll learn handheld camera tips and techniques for a more professional look, follow the link in the description and we'll give it to you for free.